Hey Clashers, what is the best air dragon type strategy? That's a good question. If we take a look at the stats, like what did the top 200 in the global leaderboard used before and after the Super Dragon nerf, it is quite interesting. The Super Dragon use rate just is crazy. It's crazy how many people opted away from the Super Dragons and how many people started using different other strategies. So we can see we have Hydra, like dragons and dragon riders coming up again, and we have one other strategy which rise to the top right behind Queen Chargelalo, and that's right, it's Electro dragons. And today we want to have a nice combination actually of Electro dragon, but with a twist, because we are using the Super Dragon inside the clan castle. Because that's kind of nice sometimes, because it can trigger a lot of traps, it's quite tanky, and it can still take down the tower most of the times. So we're going to take a look at a couple of attacks, because you guys know me, I mean, I'm not the best Electro Dragon attacker, and I want to do this kind of like as a guide. We are going to watch some attacks of Yuyan, who is really good with those Electro Dragons. Another important thing is already the siege machine choice. Like, Yuyan told me you can use so many different siege machines. It's kind of crazy. So, first of all, when I watch this attack, I'm like confused. I'm literally confused and I have no clue why he's bringing the lock launcher. Because I have to say, I'm not a fan of the lock launcher in Electro Dragon attacks at all, if you're using it like he does. Because what this does is it lures out the clan castle for no reason. But what he does as well is that since all of the Electro Dragons are splitting to the flank, he's making sure the core is getting taken care of as well. And that's now where the Super Dragon is coming into. With the Super Dragon, he's able to take down any clan castle really quickly. So you can see as well that all of those core defenses were taken down. Only those 3 expos are left, and they are about to get taken down as well by those dragons, Electro Dragons and the Super Dragon itself. And at this point, the king and the queen are already at the town hall, and there's pretty much nothing left. He's still sitting in the Royal Champ. But to be honest, I think we could argue that this Royal Champion was somewhat of a swag, because it was not really needed. But the first attack already with the lock launcher as siege, which I felt like was really interesting. So bring that to the table. What I know is like sometimes you angle it to the outside so you can lock launch and air defense, things like that. That's not what he did. That's not what he did. Completely different approach. Let's take a look at another base in a different setup again. And at this point, I want to bring the classic disclaimer again. All of those guys out there, I see a lot of people always say, okay, E-Dragons are not their type of attack, which is totally fine. Like, don't get me wrong, that's no problem. But everyone who's out there saying, like, Electro Dragons take no skill, I would argue 90% of those people have no clue how to play Electro Dragons. That would be my statement. And by the way, I include myself, right? Like, I don't know how to play Electro Dragons, and I think they're not as easy as a lot of people are saying, and especially they are really flexible. So for example, Yuya this time around though is coming in with the Electro Dragon kill squad. So what does this mean? Well, what he pretty much does is, instead of sending in all of these Electro Dragons in the beginning, instead he's sending in a small push with 2 Electro Dragons to take down the Eagle and create pathing, and takes down already a couple of those buildings. And you can see you can be really flexible, not only in how you deploy the Electro Dragons, but as well in how you and which siege machines you can use. We have seen the lock launcher now from him. We have seen now the slammer. He's actually going full risk, all in pretty much this one, with choosing the slammer onto this base. Then obviously the ranges, as typically this time around though, he's dodging the clan castle range. So anything what is in there, if it's a hound or if it's a ice golem, I don't know, is going to stay in there, not going to make any problems whatsoever. And meanwhile, you have those heroes working their way around the top side and doing some great job. At the same time though, there's the tornado trap, and what this does now is he can use the rage and make sure that with the Super Dragon he can take care of the town hall. An important thing why I feel like the Super Dragon is not really that bad inside the clan castle is exactly this point. Any different client castle, if it's a rocket, like if it's rocket loons, if it's regular loons, if it is Dragon Rider, most of those troops would have been dead by now. But the Super Dragon is surviving way longer because he's so tanky. Yes, the damage got nerfed, but it's still such a tanky air troop, and he's typically really supportive in those siege machines. So I think it's pretty nice overall. Back to the attack though, at this point you might have thought, okay, that's going to be a fail, but no, not really. Like, if you have those back-end heroes, you're still looking so incredibly strong, and that's exactly what happened with this attack as well. Those heroes are going to finish off the last couple of defenses, the last couple of buildings, and this means another 3-star for Julian. I think at this point, we should switch then to the next attack and see what he can show us as well, what type of bases are left and everything. And what should be next on the menu. And again, right now Electro Dragons are really back at the top when it comes down to any dragon type of strategy, to any dragon type air strategy, and they are really powerful right now. Another base, another attack. This time though, it's like one of those heavy teaser bases where the town was really far on one side, and there's a lot of defenses around it. But that's few of those setups where Electro Dragons are really strong, because that's where those like super compact bases have no chance most of the time versus Electro Dragons. So what he does is he places the rage early because he needs to place everything as quickly as possible, because he wants to make sure that those dragons, those loons especially, are pushing inside the base with being protected. That's like the really important thing. So we can see now a few more rages coming in, and with that, this wave of loons is just pushing through. And it's really important that you keep those loons alive if possible, because they are the troops, they are your pretty much backup plan when it comes down to triggering traps. And take a look at those lightnings. I mean, this is just looking insane. Another thing which you can see a lot of times is that he's saving the siege machine to be able to adapt to whatever is left, and be able to adapt with switching between different siege machines, and always choose the best one. In this one though, you can see already there is no need to deploy the siege machine. There is no need to deploy the Royal Champion. There is no need to deploy one freeze and the poison. And there is no need either to use the king or the queen ability. So overall, a really cool attack. Obviously, is what was really fitting base for this attack style. But you can see how powerful E-Dragons are. And to be honest, I think it was one of the best things that happened to the game, that the Super Dragons got nerfed. The main reason though, it's not because I feel like they were, I think the main point for me is that because they were so much better than all of the other dragon types, that we now have a comeback of a lot of different type of attacks. So for example, Electro Dragons are now back. We have the dragons and the Dragon Riders back as a strategy. We have in pro play, for example, the Inferno Dragons back. So there's a lot of things back now which were not possible before, because just everything was just worse than the Super Dragons. And that's like the big problem. Again though, next attack, and we are seeing again a lock launcher going through the middle of the base. And that's something which he does kind of often, especially on those box bases, which I have to say I'm kind of surprised. If you're an X-Dragon attacker, and if you're having main problems versus box bases, try it out. It is quite a risky approach, because the town was really far on the back end, and you have no siege whatsoever to save the day. But what this does, it keeps our heroes alive. And you can see with the king and with the queen staying alive, that as long as the core, that's where the X-bots are, that's where the scatter shots are, that's where the eagle is and everything, like that's where the heavy damage is. As long as that's getting taken care of, and nice chain value with all of those Electro Dragons, you guys are looking good. Like there's no need to save anything for the town, because you can see again another attack where he can swag spells and especially swag the Royal Champion again. So we have seen now multiple attacks today from Julian, where he has swagged heroes, where he has swagged siege and the spells and everything. So yeah, pretty crazy attacks. Electro Dragons are for sure incredibly strong right now. So if you want to dive into an air type of strategy, which is really nice to pick up. So it's like strategy which is nice and easy to get into, but you can still master it really nicely, so you get those consistent 3 stars. Because just spamming them in is not getting you the value in the end. It's not getting you high-end trophies. It's not getting you the consistent 3 stars. You need to do a little bit more for that. So I hope I was able to show you some cool stuff. Huge thank you for you, Jan, for sharing this. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys back tomorrow for the next one. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.